Hey guys, welcome back to the front line. It's your girl Shamar and fair use. I keep forgetting to say fair use, guys. Anyhow, fair use for the purposes of education and criticism, right? Guys, I have been trying to hone in on what's been going on, right? What these stories in the Torah, what are they trying to tell us, right, guys? And a lot of times I'll take what's going on in the scientific world and try to examine that because I have a pretty good hunch, guys, that our cellular could very well be our spiritual. Okay, guys? I know they don't want you to feel like that. They would like to separate the two, but you cannot. You just can't. And the etymology of a lot of these words makes me feel like they know what they're doing. They know they want you so far removed from your health that you don't even put two and two together. Okay, guys? That's what I think they want. But before I get started, guys, I want to thank my viewers for you guys' continued viewership and this journey that we're on together, fam. You know, I consider you guys fam. You guys are showing up every week to see where we're at in this journey. Okay, guys, so I appreciate that. I also want to let you guys know that I'm also human. Last week, if you guys watched the show last week, you'll see that the Wi-Fi just kept dropping. It was really, really difficult, guys, to get through that episode. And I'm going to tell you something, it hasn't gotten any better. So I'll bring you guys into my life just a tad bit before we get started with this episode. I have, like I told you guys, I have land, a good amount. Okay, I won't get into how much land I have, but I have a good amount. And I'm always trying to build and prepare for whatever fam might come this way, you know. And I do have some fam coming this way in the next month or two. So in preparation of that, I have another friend who has a good amount of land. And on that good amount of land, he has a pretty good rental house that I'd like to take over while I'm building on the land. It gives me some added resources like running water, electricity, things like that. That's the upside, guys. The downside. You would not believe how terrible service is in this little town. It's the same town that I live in, but the funny thing is that I'm on the edge of the end of the town, and on my dirt pile, I get better internet in the cabin, guys, than I've ever gotten at this house. It's so weird, but I'm trying to make do and trying to prepare for the fam to get down here. But I have got to find a solution. And the only solution I can come up with, guys, is while I'm at work, to go ahead and try to screenshot some of the websites that I like to use in the presentation. This way, some of the content is already here, guys, and all I have to do is pull up my photos and, you know, record, and I can do it like that. I know it's a little harder to follow than when I just go to the website, but this is the only solution I can come up with, guys. You know, if you guys know of anything that might be better for me, shoot me a message down in the comments, okay, guys? But this has been horrendous. So what I've been doing is just trying to record, referring to the photos, pulling those in and enlarging so we can read along, and just hoping that that works out for you guys and that you guys are able to follow that, you know, and still meet my commitment to the creator, okay? Gavin's back, so I'm trying to find my groove with being a mom and work and this. And I'm going to get it, guys. You guys just keep me in your thoughts, you know, and say a small word to the creator for me, and ask the creator to sort these things out for me, you know. Um, that's one thing. We have this crazy storm coming our way, and it's going to be a pretty big one. All right, guys. Mom is not happy. So you're going to see displays of mom not happy everywhere. We've seen it in Maui this week, and we're going to see it in Cali. And so, guys, my nerves are all over the place with this hurricane that's coming. You guys don't know it, but my two eldest uh, were in Cali, and I lost my son in California. So I'm not really, I don't have a love relationship with California, guys. And although shout out to Queen Califia, right? I think if she was on the team, um, I have a love-hate relationship with that state. And so I decided to move to Zion, Arizona, guys, to get as close as I could get to my eldest, who is my middle child now, is now my eldest, without being in California, because I've always been concerned about that coastal town, right? You know what the Creator tells us, stay out of the cities. But it's very difficult to get your kids to listen to you, isn't it, guys? So I've been on the phone a lot with Prince and trying to get Prince to get on out here to Zion, and build his house on the land and start preparing. But Prince is kind of hard-headed, guys, so Prince is going to try to ride out the storm, and that worries me. Needless to say, I've lost my eldest already in California, so that's been on my mind too, and these connection issues, guys. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm also off on Tuesdays. I'm going to start trying to record on Tuesdays so I have no excuses and nothing gets in the way. So this is going to be a quick turnaround for me, right, guys? Because I've done it on the Shabbat, and I'm going to do another show on Tuesday to try to stay ahead of it. But I think I already have the content, guys. It's going to be right here. Is Bow in your home? All right, guys, that's a long story. But before we can get to Bow, I want to get to this week's content, guys, because this week's content, you know what? I'm going to drop the sour grapes and Bow, because you know what? I think the sour grapes have a lot to do with that Bow in your home study, right, guys? I think the sour grapes might be that Xerxes proclamation that went out, guys. But we'll talk about that next week. Right now, we're going to talk about a bull named Cosmos, okay? Because the more I got into biology, guys, and the more I started digging into CRISPR and what CRISPR's doing, is the more I started noticing something with certain animals, right, guys? And we know that Adam named the animals, right, guys? I showed you guys that. If you haven't watched that episode, you need to watch the episode, Is Adam Aesop? Right, guys? Also, that Adam is linked to Ethiopia, Ethiops, which Ethiopia has never been conquered, guys. Is that linked to Adam? Is that why? I'm not going to talk about the appearance of Ethiopians, but they have a otherworldly kind of look that looks more ancient than some of us, to me. All right, guys? So I'm just going to throw that out there. I think Adam, I think Aesop, and I think Ethiops is all in one big ball, guys. But, I can't dig into all of my thoughts, guys. It's just too much. I wish I had a team. All right, guys, if anybody out there likes to research certain topics, or, wants to be of assistance to me, you know what I mean? My email is shamarshebrews@gmail.com, okay, guys? So that could be of help to me if you guys think that you can help me get into some of these topics and research some areas that is just too much for me to research. Shout out to you and reach out to me. I could always use help, guys. And pretty soon we're going to have to get out of the city. So I'm prepping on my land. And who knows, I do want my subscribers to be protected. That's all I'm going to say. So when the time comes, we'll have that conversation too, guys. But we're bonding right now. We're bonding right here and right now. So hopefully when that time comes, we'll be fam. And I'm going to say to my fam, get out here. Get out here now. All right, guys? So this week, guys, I want to talk about a bull named Cosmo. All right, guys, but before I can get into that, I'm going to take y'all on a journey of what I think I see happening. All right, guys, it's some sort of knowledge. You know, the forbidden knowledge. They keep talking about forbidden knowledge. There is something with the bull, guys, that I see. And I think it involves, and I'm pretty certain that's what CRISPR's behind the scenes trying to do. All right, guys, I turned on my do not disturb. I done did my copyright infringement protection. I'm on a roll, guys. I'm on a roll. All right, so I know we saw the discrepancies in the KJV last week, but like I told you, I need more people to help me with my research, because I'm really trying to dig into which book is going to be the best for us to read. But for the sake of it just being consistent, let's just go ahead to the KJV Exodus 32, guys, right? This is where the Israelites, you know, let's get into it, guys. Come on. All right, so here in Exodus 32, let's just start from the top. I need to figure out where I need to cut this off at, though. I hadn't done that part. All right, let me pause this for a second so you guys don't have to go on that journey with me. The floaty doesn't want to come out, and it disappeared. Oh my goodness, there it is. Let me pause. Okay, guys, so I'm back. I've read through this whole chapter, and I think the whole chapter is very relevant, especially when we get to the end. Okay, it's gonna kind of tie into our study last week. Okay, let me close this out. All right, but it's a pretty lengthy chapter, but it needs to be, guys. So it is what it is, right? We'll get down to 35. So just follow me, guys. All right. All right. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron, and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, I guess what not is, we don't know, okay, what's become of him. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people break off the golden earrings, which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. And they rose up early on the morrow, and offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people which thou hast brought us out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way of which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them. And I will make thee a great nation. And Moses besought the Lord his God, and said, Lord, why doth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power, and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, For mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, thy servants, to whom thou swearest by thy own self, and said unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and as all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. Right, because the Creator was ready to wipe them out. And it says, raise Moses up to a nation of his own. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of God. And the writing was the writing of God, graven upon the tables. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there's a noise of war in the camp. And he said, it's not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger waxed hot. And he cast the tables out of his hand, and brake them beneath the mount. And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it into the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink it. And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people do unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? And Aaron said, let not the anger of my Lord wax hot. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. For they said unto me, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And I said unto them, whosoever have any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it to me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto the shame among their enemies, then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. For Moses said, consecrate yourselves today to the Lord, even every man upon his son, and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. See, this was for the men. It says so right here. The women were naked, but this seems like something that he's saying to the men. It says, consecrate yourselves today to the Lord, even every man upon his son, upon his brother, okay, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, ye have sinned a great sin. And now I will go up unto the Lord. Peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto the Lord and said, oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sins, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. You see it says him. Therefore, now go, lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sins upon them. Your sins are going to be visited upon you. And the Lord plagued the people because they made the calf, which Aaron made. Plagued people, okay? Here's another episode of where we see that the word plague is used here, which we know that that word now is linked to, like an outbreak, guys. You know what I mean? This goes back to the health once again, all right? And that's why I wanted to read all the way through it. But what would make them, of all animals to glorify and worship, what would make them specifically design a calf? All right, guys? And I'm going to tell you why my mind went there. So I started wondering about the calf. And when I was wondering about the calf, and I started doing research about CRISPR, I hope the bull is in you guys' mind. A few weeks back, we did an episode about the war of the X and the Y, and that's when I revealed to you guys something very unique about the bull's Y chromosome. All right, guys, so let's get into some of these articles and see how they tie together where I'm leading with that Exodus 32 and what the obsession with the bull is. All right, guys, let's go. Remember, they put the bull as the first letter in the Hebrew, what do we want to call it? The alphabet, I suppose, yeah. The Paleo Hebrew and all of these things. They put the bull there first. Okay, guys. Does the bull really come first, though? We'll see. All right, the birds, the bees, and the Komodo dragon. I want to go past that Parthenogenesis. Actually, guys, this one should not be in here. Sorry, guys. But we're going to get into Parthenogenesis one day, okay, guys? But not today. I want to get it right here. I need to get that article out of there. All right, guys, let's get into the bull. College raises bull calf designed to produce more male offspring. This is frightening, guys. But I know why they're doing this. All right. Scientists at the University of California, Davis, have raised a bull calf that was genome edited as an embryo to produce more male offspring. Using the genome editing technology CRISPR, what did I tell you guys? CRISPR is up to no good. Researchers make precise cuts or insertions to the genome, allowing desirable traits to be created more quickly and reliable than previous methods. Inserting genes is called a gene knock-in. So they basically pop it on in there, whatever they want. You want blue eyes? Let's pop that on in there. You want an animal tail? Let's pop that on in there. You want wings? Let's pop that on in there. It's frightening. This is the days of Noah. This is not new technology, guys. I don't buy it. All right. Well, I'll get into it. There were other ways they were doing this with animals and plants, guys. I found an article that said that, but CRISPR is just way easier. All right. To produce the bull, which they named Cosmo, researchers knocked in the cattle SRY gene, which is the gene responsible for initiating male development. They inserted it into a bovine embryo. Now remember, guys, the embryo is usually female first. We anticipate Cosmo's offspring that inherit this SRY gene will grow and look like males, regardless of whether they inherit a Y chromosome. Do you know what this article is telling you guys? That they're going to inject this into people that hold an XX chromosome. That's why it says no matter if they are hold a Y chromosome or not. But they're going to make them look like males. This is a transgender machine that they've created. They can essentially take a woman who has an XX chromosome and change it to a Y chromosome. Right here, that's what it's telling you they're going to do. All right, let's get to the next paragraph right here. She noted, right here, guys, sorry. She noted producing more males is desirable because male cattle are about 15% more efficient at converting feed into weight gain than females. They also tend to be processed at heavier weights. More male cattle may also help create additional sustainability in cattle herds, as fewer cattle would be needed to produce the same amount of beef. Ranchers could produce some females as replacements and direct a higher proportion of male cattle to market. The scientists, we're skipping a few of these names because I really don't care about these people's names. They're frightening. They should be named Frankenstein. The scientists made a breakthrough discovery when targeting bovine chromosome 17. See, they want to figure out what chromosomes they can do this type of stuff to and knock in, because they want to do this on the male Y chromosome of the human. This is why they're researching the bull and the mouse. Remember, I told you the mouse has the largest Y chromosome in any mammal. The smallest creature has the largest Y chromosome. So of course they're researching them. They would like to make the male human Y chromosome much more bulky because remember, it's shriveled. It's shriveled. Shout out to Busy Signal. All right, guys. So they want to bulk that up, and that's why they're researching the mouse chromosome, guys. And I'm going to tell you why they're researching the bull chromosome. Let's get into it, guys, and why they made that golden calf. Come on. Previous attempts to knock in the SRY gene on the X chromosome. See, right here, previous, we're here. They're trying to do this on the X chromosome, guys. This is the female chromosome. This is not the male chromosome. They're trying to put the SRY gene into a female. I wonder why. Could it be because all of the males are going to be degraded pretty soon, so they're going to try to do this with a female? Yeah, guys, I'm going to show you the nightmare. All right. Previous attempts to knock in the SRY gene on the X chromosome, which would have resulted in a bull producing solely male offsprings, were unsuccessful. But chromosome 17 is a genetic safe harbor site, ensuring the expression or regulation of adjacent genes is not disrupted by the insertion. This means they don't want to, if they knock in, they don't want to disrupt anything else, you know, because then you get probably like zombies and stuff like that, possibly, huh? They don't want to disrupt anything else. So they're trying to be very cautious about how they do this. But once again, they're not the creator. All right. Now the bull is expected to produce 75% male offspring. 50% will be normal XY animals. That'll be normal males, and an additional 25% of XX animals that will inherit the SRY gene. Can you believe this? It took 2.5 years to develop the method to insert a gene into the developing embryo, and another 2 years to successfully establish a pregnancy. The scientists celebrate after a healthy 110-pound male calf was born this past April. This is only the beginning of the research. Did they know that something in the bull could help the male? I think they did, and that's why they built that build. This is why they've been glorifying the bull for centuries, guys. Let's get into it. The bull will reach sexual maturity in about a year and will be bred to study whether inheriting the SRY gene on chromosome 17 will trigger male development pathways in XX embryos, resulting in offspring that grow like and appear as male. They want to create a transgender gene. They want to make you go from female to male. I wonder why. Why aren't they doing the opposite? Why aren't they making the males into females? You know why? Because the males are disintegrating. So why would they do that? They gotta find a way to keep males in circulation, guys. They don't want to trust what the TORAH says. They want to try to do this frightening thing themselves, guys. So let's keep going. Let's see what these other articles are telling us that they're doing with this CRISPR machine. All right. The bully Y chromosome has evolved to bully its way into the gametes. Remember, guys, I told you that the gametes gnash. In Genesis 3, what did the Creator tell us was going to happen? And in the scripture, we've seen a lot of, as it concerns like gnashing, the gnashing of the teeth, and this, that, and third. Well, gametes, the etymology of gametes, this word right here, translates into gnashing and grinding. All right, guys, but I want to show you why they research mice, cattle, and men. All right, of mice, men, and cattle, sex chromosomes, the X and the Y, evolved from a regular pair of symmetrical chromosomes. That means that the Y was not shriveled up, guys. I told you, it was the same shape and size. Those born biologically female have 2 chromosomes, 2X. Those born biologically male have an X and a Y. All right, they keep wanting this biologically bullcrap, okay? Anyway, Page's lab successfully sequenced the human Y chromosome in 2003. Afterwards, the researchers wanted to be able, why the Y? Why did they only sequence the human Y chromosome? Because they knew the Y was dying. Why didn't they successfully sequence the X? Right here, guys, it says in 2003, they successfully sequenced the Y. You want to know why? Because they always known that the man was cursed. That's why they researched that Y, guys. Why didn't they do both? Yeah. Because they know. Excuse me. Let's go down to the next paragraph. To make these comparisons, researchers in the lab laid out a list of several animals, excuse me guys, I got a tickle in my throat, including chimps, opossums, and mice. Why? Because remember that article said that the men are more closely related to chimps than they are to women. Guys, I don't know why they said that. I don't know what the biology breaks down to. But I do know that men and women are two different biological creatures. I will say that. But I don't want to relegate you guys to chimps either. I'm just telling you guys, read the article and figure out why they said it. But they've included chimps in here, and they've included mice. And opossums are possums. I'd have to dig onto that as to why they included them. But it's never for no reason, guys. All right. That occupied different branches of the mammalian family tree right here. One after another, the scientists began sequencing these creatures' Ys using a high-resolution sequencing method called SHIMS, short for single haplotype iterative mapping and sequencing, to obtain a level of detail that other techniques like shotgun sequencing can't. I don't know what that is, guys. But one thing I will tell y'all, this word right here, SHIMS, I got my mind on that one because there's 3 families of proteins in the shims. Remember, guys? What does that remind you of? Shem, Japhet, and Ham. Guys, it does me. Anyway, moving on. Let's go down to the next paragraph. This powerful sequencing technology allowed the researchers to preserve a strange peculiarity. Sorry, I was struggling with that one, guys. Of Y chromosomes. In some species, nearly all the genetic material on the Y is made up of sequences of DNA that have been amplified dozens or hundreds of times over like a hall of mirrors. That's the palindromes, guys. Remember I told you Eve is doing that. In mice, for example, repeats of just a few testis-specific genes make up nearly 98% of the Y chromosome. In humans, however, repeats make up only 45%. We wanted to know if this was just a peculiarity of rodents, or if other Y chromosomes might come close. Right, because remember, guys, I told you they want to beef it up. Remember, the mouse has 98% on his Y chromosome, while the human male has 45%. All right, so now they want to jump onto the bull. That's where the bull came in. Outside of primates and rodents, the next branch off of the mammalian tree includes bulls. All right. We didn't know if the bull's Y chromosome would look like a mouse Y or a human Y or something else entirely different. The running of the bulls. It took the lab in other institutions more than a decade to tease apart the complexities of the bull Y chromosome. In fact, it turned out to be the most gene-dense of any Y chromosome ever mapped, largely due to the fact that 90% of its genetic material was made up of repetitive sequences. As in the mouse, most of the bull's halls of mirrors repeats appears to be expressed in the testes. But the question remains why? What drives it can't be just to purely make more sperm, because that just overkills the right. You don't really need hundreds of copies of a gene to accomplish that task. The researchers found a clue when they took a closer look at the X chromosome. The female determinant sex chromosome also had a few copies of these testes-specific genes. We don't really know the mechanism in the bull, but the thought is that somehow the amplification of these genes in the Y has to do with the helping the Y get passed on, and the X copies are amplified to compete against that tendency and help the X. So there's a competition going on here between the X and the Y. Sounds like enmity to me, guys. But anyway, we're going to keep on going. All right, no, I don't want to get too far into this because this is just going to show you. Well, no, we actually should, because I want you guys to know why they glorify the bull. And what is it that science is trying to break through with that CRISPR machine? All right, the X and Y arms race have been proven to happen in mice. Somehow, repetitive genes on the Y chromosome give it an extra edge when it comes to ending up in the sperm during gamete formation. Remember, the gnashing, guys, it gives it an extra edge. Without the extra genes, more X chromosome than Y would end up in the sperm cells, and the sex ratio of offspring skewed for females. Over years of evolution, the X has developed repeats as well. its own way to get a leg up in the race. Competition between the X and Y chromosome is selfish. They each want to live, guys. They each want to live. The X wants to outperform the Y, and the Y wants to outperform the X. However, that doesn't always happen. But in bulls, the Y typically beats out the X. And I think this is why they are researching so frantically, because if the Y beats out the X in there, they can beef up that Y, get back their Y restored, possibly make it stronger, and we could just make some females into some more men and keep on going, huh? This is frightening, guys. All right, competition between the X and Y is selfish, right here, guys, because it's not a good thing for the species to have a skewed sex ratio. No, it's not, because then we tip the scales and then we mess around and delete ourselves, right? Because we can wipe out a sex, then we don't have any more of the species. Thus, these alterations benefit only the lucky chromosome that end up in the fertilized egg. The fact that a selfish and even detrimental mechanism would continue for millions of years in disparate branches of the evolutionary tree suggests that these conflicts may be an inevitable side effect of having a pair of asymmetrical sex chromosomes. Right. What they're saying is when the chromosomes were even, when the X and the Y were even, there was no arms race. But once they became uneven, there became a sex battle between the X and the Y. And this is why, guys, I say, is this the enmity that the Creator was speaking of? All right, evolutionary theory aside, knowing the mechanisms controlling the sex ratio of cattle could be of practical use in coming years. Of course. Of course it could be of practical use in coming years. Probably next year, wouldn't it, guys? Probably for April 8th. They want to beat that, don't they? For that eclipse. It could be of great interest to breeders because they would love to be able to manipulate the sex of cattle offspring. For example, dairy farmers would prefer more females, and meat farmers would prefer more males. Right now, the lab is working on leafing out the branches of their Y chromosome evolutionary tree. The bull is the seventh sex chromosome to be completely sequenced using the Shims method. Remember, they did the human, the Y chromosome. They don't care about doing the X. Why? There's too many of that going on. The X is already powerful. They only care about fixing that Y, guys. That's showing you something. Our lab is focused on sex difference. Here goes the last paragraph, guys. Across the human body, and all that work really is inspired by lessons that we've learned by comparing the Y chromosome of different animals with our own. It's like when you go to an art gallery and just sit on a bench and look and feel inspired. These sequences are an infinite source of inspiration in the work we're doing, and we can now add the bull to our gallery. Why the bull, guys? Because the bull's Y's got it going on. The bull is able to wipe out females. In the gametes, he's grinding and gnashing out all the females, guys. Yeah, he's grinding and gnashing out the X. All right, guys, let's find another article and see what's going on. What else have I got in this bag of tools? Let's see. CRISPR. Yeah, let's go to CRISPR. Wait a minute. The gamete. Yeah, no, CRISPR. I wanted to pull up CRISPR, guys, because I need you guys to see what these acronyms stand for. Dr. Emmanuel Charpentier, one of our scientific founders, co-invented CRISPR-9 gene editing. Until then, people knew CRISPR only as an acronym for the clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats of genetic information that some bacterial species use as part of an antiviral mechanism. Now, its gene editing tool, CRISPR-Cas9, has revolutionized biomedical research and may soon enable medical breakthroughs in a way few biological innovations have before. Oh yeah, they want to figure out how to beat that Y-def. All right, CRISPR-Cas9 edits gene by precisely cutting DNA and then letting natural DNA repair process take over. The systems consist of two parts, the Cas9 enzyme and a guide RNA. So these are just some biological terms right here, guys, that one of these days I'm going to get into. And this shows you what they do right here. So they disrupt it, they pull it out. It's like copy and paste, guys. Wow, this is so much fun. Look at that. Until you mess around and copy and paste out, I don't know, your heart, your brain. This is ridiculous. But this is what they're doing, guys. This is what CRISPR is up to. All right, guys. Let's look at what this scientist is doing over here. Look at this abominable guy. UC Davis scientists use CRISPR technology to develop bull that produces 75% male offspring. Guys, it's a female. This is a female calf that they have put the SRY gene into. Essentially a transgender bull. Guys, this is a transgender bull. Did you guys know they were doing this? I didn't. Scientists at the University of California have produced a gene edited as an embryo so that he will produce more male offspring. The bull named Cosmos. I want you guys to see Cosmo. There he goes. Look at that. It's a little, I don't know what's going on with Cosmo, but he is essentially transgender. Okay, guys? And there is, we anticipate Cosmos' offspring that inherit this, I'm right here now, guys, right down here. Will grow and look like males, regardless of whether they inherit the Y. What did I tell you guys? They're doing this to XX holders. So they're essentially, did that bull want to be a female or a male? Did we ask for permission? Guys, I can't. All right, I want to show y'all some of the articles that I pulled in for you guys. Like I told you, I've had to do some weird stuff. This is just showing you the acronym for CRISPR. And I told you guys palindromic is in there. Who's been talking about the palindromes, guys? Us on the front line. Let's see. There was an article about CRISPR that was, I think it was this one. All right. CRISPR is, oh, and I'm sorry, guys. When I took a screenshot, I pulled in over here the audio thing, so some of it is cut off at the top, so we'll have to do our best, but we're going to go down here. I want y'all to look at this second paragraph. I wish it wasn't cut off. There were ways to edit. Remember I told you guys they were doing this before. This is just the days of Noah. CRISPR is the days of Noah. All right, the second paragraph is going to tell you that. Remember when the Egyptians were dealing with all of this stuff where they were making sorry guys, my alarm went off. Where they were animals with human heads, and we've seen the hieroglyphs, guys. And the phallic symbol. Remember I told you that phallic symbol is your Y, your leg on your X that fell off, guys. They're like, we're going to recreate that leg that fell off. Don't worry, we're going to cheat this stuff. Look, it says here in the second paragraph, there are ways to edit the genome of some plants. I assume that says some under there. Some plants and animals before the CRISPR method was unveiled in 2012, but it took years and hundreds of thousands of dollars. CRISPR made it cheap and easy. It's a society where we like everything cheap and easy, even things that we're going to do to our body. CRISPR is already widely used for scientific research and in the not too distant future, many of the plants and animals in our farms, gardens, or homes may have been altered with CRISPR. In fact, some people are already eating CRISPRed food. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. CRISPR technology also has the potential to transform medicine, enable us to not only treat but also prevent many diseases. This is what they want to do. Remember, who's making you sick, guys? Who has the ability to make you sick? Well, we just read it in Exodus 32 that the children of Israel were plagued. Didn't we read last week that David's baby was made sick? The Creator can make you sick. And now we find out that they're going to prevent the diseases. They want to beat that Y desperately, guys. We may even decide to use it to change the genomes of our children. Of course they would, because they don't want any more Y carriers. What they'll do is take the X carriers and insert that SRY gene in them. Oh my goodness, guys, this is abominable. We're right here, an attempt to do this in China has been condemned as premature and unethical, but some think it could benefit children in the future. CRISPR is being used for all kinds of other purposes too, from fingerprinting cells and logging what happens inside them, to directing evolution and creating gene drives. The key to CRISPR is the many flavors of Cas proteins found in bacteria, where they help defend against viruses. Guys, remember, on the Y chromosome is junk DNA, is dead viruses. Remember, Adam was cursed with a virus, guys, right in the garden. This protein can easily be programmed. Sorry, the Cas9 protein is the most widely used by scientists. This protein can easily be programmed to find and bind to almost any desired target sequence, simply by giving it a piece of RNA to guide it in its search. By giving it a piece of RNA, guys. What happened in the last 3 years? When the CRISPR-Cas9 protein is added to a cell along with a piece of guided RNA, the Cas9 protein hooks up with the guide RNA and then moves along the strand of DNA until it finds and binds to a 20 DNA letter long sequence that matches part of the guide's RNA sequence. That's impressive, given that the DNA packed into each of us cells has 6 billion letters and 2 meters long. So basically what this thing does is seeks out that specific sequence that's popping in there, the palindrome sequence. They don't want to tell you that that 20 long DNA letter long sequence is your palindrome sequence. It wants to hop onto that palindrome DNA sequence and change it. What happens next, and that's Eve. That's Eve's function, guys. I showed you that. What happens next can vary. The standard, it can vary, guys. This is where we get the zombies and stuff, must be. Because they really can't control what it's going to do. They're hoping. The standard Cas9 protein cuts the DNA at the target. When the cut is repaired, if it's repaired, mutations are introduced that usually disable a gene. This is by far the most common use of CRISPR. It's called gene editing, genome editing. But usually the results are not as precise as the term implies. Right, guys? They don't know what they're doing. They're fooling around with your DNA. The creator has 20,000 proteins that can shape anything. So can you imagine going in there and messing with that? What you could create? CRISPR can also be used to make precise changes such as replacing faulty genes. True genome editing, but this is far more difficult. Custom Cas proteins have been created that do not cut DNA or alter in any way, but merely turn genes on and off. CRISPR and CRISPR-I, respectively, yet others call base editors change one letter of the DNA code to another. So why do we call it CRISPR? Cas9 proteins are used by bacteria to destroy viral DNA. They add bits of viral DNA to their own genome to guide the Cas proteins, and the odd patterns of these bits of DNA are what give CRISPR its name. Clustered, regularly interspaced, short, palindromic repeats. There you go. They're trying to take over Eve's function. They want to get rid of our mama. Talking about it's the cheap way. Okay, guys, I think I got all of the photos that I wanted to get out of here. So I think this lesson is drawn to an end, guys. I think I wanted to show you guys the etymology. We're going to end on this because I always talk about it, guys. Okay? And cytoplasma, guys, is the clay. Guys, I'm figuring this out. Look how you have monogamy in here, guys. Marrying once. What did I tell y'all? A lot of these words are linked to a lot of conception words are linked to matrimony words, guys. I'm finding that too. Polygamy, the gametes, fertilize, marriage. Why is this fertilization word used right here in marriage? Polygamy, marriage with more than one spouse. Why is this being used right here? Oh, I'm glad I opened it here because we can research gamete right here. Okay, gamete, word forming elements meaning marriage. in anthropology and fertilization in biology. So they're one and the same. All right. In anthropology and in biology, gamete is the same. They didn't want to tell you that. That conception and marriage are the same. That's what this thing is saying right here, guys. All right. So a gamete, sexual protoplasmic body. The widespread attribution of words coinage to Mendel being apparently erroneous from Greek gamete, a wife, a husband. Even wife and husband is linked to gamete, guys. I forgot that. To marry, it says to marry. So conception is to marry, guys. And for Sanskrit, it says he also gamete, autogamy, self-fertilization. That's autogamy is when you have an asexual creature which can conceive on its own, which I'm starting to think, guys, that dragons may possibly have been asexual creatures. They laid eggs, guys. It would be very interesting to find out that all of the dragons are actually female. I'm actually trying to figure that out right now because Komodo dragons are asexual creatures too. So all right, let's keep going. I'm going to actually go to the gamete in etymology because you're going to get a little more here. Where they left off at gamete right here at the end, we're going to go to the 7th month of the ancient Attic calendar. Was Gamaliel, month of marriage. We're still doing that, aren't we, guys? A lot of month of marriage in July. The gamete. Okay, well, no, it was the zygote that I wanted to show you guys is the gnashing. The zygote. Let's go to the zygote. It's yoked, guys. Yoked. Right here, it's yoked. No, gamete did have gnashing, didn't it? I'm going to have to find that again for you guys. But let's go to cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. I'm going to show you guys. Cytoplasm is the clay. This is what the Creator used to form us. Protoplasm, organic substance forming the essential constitute of cells. Cytoplasm. Cyto, before a word, before a vowel. A hollow receptacle basket. Cyto, to cover, conceal. Right? I wonder if the cyto was the skin, guys. Remember when he said he clothed them in skins? It says to cover or to conceal right here is the Q. That's the root word right here, Q. You see that, guys? All right, and plasm, word forming element meaning a growth, a development, something molded. Ha, the plasma. All right, plasma, formed, shaped, a more classical form of earlier plasm, from late plasma, from Greek plasma, something molded or created. So the plasm came first, guys, and I think the cyto came afterwards. That's when he clothed us. All right? Sense of liquid, part of blood right here. This is the blood. Remember, he says that the life is in the blood. Okay, guys? Yeah, look, the corpuscles. Remember, we talked about the corpuscles in the immune system. Guys, everything is biology. The spiritual is the biology, guys. It's the cellular. All right, guys. So I'm just trying to show you guys and bring this all home because I need you guys to know that they knew for a very long time that there was something very special about the bull. And because they've known it for a long time, they're going to be now making machines to capitalize off that Y chromosome that is in the bull. The selfish chromosome that knocks out any of the females and ensures that the male keeps going. Okay, they want the mouse chromosome because the mouse, of course, has the largest. So they're researching the largest and they're researching the one that'll knock those ladies out the way. Right, guys? And right here, it says in verse 15, and Moses turned and went down from the mountain, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other they were written. And the tables were the work of God. And the writing was the writing of God. graven upon the tables. And when Joshua heard the noise of the people as they shouted, he said unto Moses, there is a noise of war in the camp. You heard that? And he said, it's not the voice of them that shout for mastery, neither is it the voice of them that cry for being overcome, but the noise of them that sing do I hear. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing. Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hand, and brake them beneath the mount. And he took the calf, which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink it. Yeah, guys, they have known for a very long time that the calf was going to save them. That's what they think, that the calf, the secret of the calf is going to save them. Guys, and they think they're going to do it with a bull named Cosmo. This is hilarious. But we know in Ezekiel 18 it's not going to happen. And it says that the flesh of some of these men will be abominable. So is it because they're fooling around with Cas9 and RNA shots and all of this crazy nonsense? I don't know, guys. But we're going to find out, August 8th, not August 8th, April 8th is on the horizon. It's right there, guys. Much love to you guys. I'm going to record on Tuesday, and we're going to get into Is Val in Your Home? And then I want to get back into the Hope for a Righteous Man. Okay, guys, but in order to get into a Hope for a Righteous Man, I got to read up, guys. So give me some time to read up and glean what I can from Daniel, glean what I can from Noah, which is, of course, I believe that's in Genesis, and glean what I can from Job. All right, guys, these are very long chapters, and I'm trying, but like I said, my email is always shamarshebrews@gmail.com. If you want to lend a hand with any of these subjects, if you think you can, let me know, guys. All right, much love to you guys from the front line. Thanks for coming in the cabin, temporary cabin, and pulling up a chair and hanging out with your girl Shamar. Much love, guys, to you guys. Take care.